Welcome to the Running Channel podcast with me, Rick Kelsey, her Sarah Hartley, and our marathon runner extraordinaire. It's Mr. Andy Badley. Woohoo! Oh. Look at that. He's back in one piece.
Even
hero. Can you see my sweat patches? Sorry.
I'm waiting for the punchline. I'm waiting for the...
Mate, there's no punchline.
We're
so proud of you.
Yeah.
You got out there, you laid it down.
Did it.
Did you finish?
Yeah. yes, I did.
And if you just run 6 seconds quicker or 7 seconds
what would that have
quicker...
Then I would have... We're giving this away right at the beginning. I mean, it's on my Strava. I ran 2 hours, 50 minutes and 6 seconds.
And we're going to delve into every single painstakingly annoying...
It was very painful.
Frustration that you have.
Yeah, and we're less than 24 hours post-event right now.
So let's dive into it.
I think you look all right for 24 hours post-event.
My body feels all right. I feel very tired, though. I just feel completely exhausted and wiped out. It was a really long day. I travelled back late last night. And then the kids woke me up early this morning. So you're just back into that. And then I'm in here with you guys. Yeah. So there's no rest for the wicked.
But was your mind telling you no throughout the experience?
But my body...
Oh, gosh.
We don't have the rights to play that, do we?
Sadly not. No. Before we get into Valencia, everything that happened, unpacking all of that, Rick, you've had a right carnage of a week, haven't you?
What? Because I've just been dressing up as
You've
different
just been,
things.
12 days of Christmas carnage.
My mileage is outrageous, Andy. Honestly.
Same. Mine is actually really good.
You're doing more than 6 or 7 a week?
Yeah, I must have done at least 14 last week.
I would actually recommend, if you're looking to up your running mileage, get involved in some random little challenge like what we're doing. Because it's not necessarily like quality miles, but it's loads of just like extra easy.
Exactly.
So good.
Sarah and I just do something, a mad challenge every lunchtime.
Do you know what me and Rick are doing after this?
Well, so just let's go through what you've done so far and then we can... You've ran a 5K in Santa shoes.
Elf shoes. Sarah, that went really badly for Sarah.
That was unideal, yeah.
You had... Rick went and hid in a... Well, it ended up being a pub. What? Kel's Surprise. That Rick was out in a full head-to-toe Santa outfit.
In the worst weather you've ever seen.
The pub was just not Christmassy at all. And Rick has literally just sat head to toe just as Santa drinking a half pint. Everyone else in the pub was just like, who is this person?
Someone else? Who was it? Was it Jess?
And then me and Jess like burst
You had to run around London looking for him. He gave you clues.
I gave you four clues within 500 metres of the office. I was in a pub called the Jugged Hare. So there was a picture of a hare behind the bar. So I took a picture of it and said, it's not a rabbit, it's a...
Yeah.
Over there, it's not a rabbit, it's a...
Hare.
So she got it. They got that bit. And then I took a picture of the Barbican. I said, I love a bit of brutalist architecture. Yeah. Of course. Yeah. Design 50s, 60s, Barbican architecture.
No one cares.
And then they got it. They got it in about 20 minutes.
We did, but also prior to that, we did go in a few pubs where we thought we were right. So me and Jess just burst into these pubs. And there was one pub where there was clearly like a work outing where they were having a full Christmas dinner and they just all turned around with dinner. We're like, sorry, wrong pub.
You weren't like, have you seen a random guy in a Santa outfit?
Yeah.
Santa?
No.
So for context, this is the Running Channel's 12 Days of Christmas Carnage. On our social media on Instagram, every day for the first 12 days, people are able and have been able to dictate what we do each day.
Yes,
from a choice of 2 things each day.
Yeah, you can vote. And actually, have you seen what we're doing today?
No, but I've seen there's a large inflatable in the office.
Yeah. That sounds weird. So today we are...
It's not a stag do, Sarah.
Today, me and Rick are heading out on a run. The vote was... we either need to get as many high fives as possible in 30 minutes,
but see, that's not it.
We need to get as many people to say Merry Christmas back as possible. Merry Christmas has won the vote, and we will be dressed as a giant inflatable reindeer.
Both of you?
Both of us. I actually think it'll be a bit better than the last one that I did, which was go out
dress as a Christmas cracker.
Dress as a Christmas cracker, draw a Christmas cracker. Yeah. I didn't realise how different London culture is to countryside culture.
Yeah,
like if you walked around London dressed as a Christmas cracker, people are literally just like, yeah, fair.
Yeah.
In the countryside, people are like, have you lost your mind? Are you okay? Who do I need to call?
I think that's a reasonable question. So I'm looking forward to this. It'll be a good test of London culture to when anyone acknowledges you at all. When you're like, Merry Christmas. Nothing.
I'm not
nothing.
sure
Blank.
we're going to
No.
get any many.
Nothing. Nothing back.
Anyway, the video will be out, so go check that out. Similar to Christmas being an excellent time to do lots of running, it's almost January, which means it's Rick's favourite day of the year. 2 days of the year.
Oh,
yeah, 2 days of the year for everyone else. Rick usually just does 1 day.
Yeah, and then
No, I don't. I do
complains
2. I
about
just
not
turn up
being
late.
able to get back to London because of the trains.
Yeah, the National Running Show.
Yeah.
Which is in Birmingham at the end of January, 31st of January, 1st of Feb, 2026. So we'll be there. We'll have a big stand. We'll be selling merch, some new merch as well there that's yet to be seen. There'll be a chance to meet the presenters. I appreciate not everyone is based in the UK, so it's a challenging one to get to. But if you are based in the UK, we have a ticket code TRC. And the first 100 people to use that code get a free ticket. And the link is also in the show notes.
I wonder if that'll be the most talked about moment in the comments, because last week we talked about running watches, and by far dozens and dozens of comments about you and origami Christmas calendars.
Oh yeah, no one cared about the watches.
Oh my God, I forgot about that. How is your origami Christmas calendar going?
Went
Well,
wild.
It's not entirely, well, as in, was I getting stick for it being
No,
terrible?
people loving it.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Absolutely loving it.
Oh, yeah, no, great.
Yeah.
How's it going?
It's not, origami's not every day, but they are getting a puzzle every day. And the puzzle is 1/24th of a total puzzle. So each one has like maybe 100 pieces in it. And then, so each day has like 100 pieces. And then they all go together to create one massive jigsaw puzzle at the end. And the first day, my lovely daughter, who is 11, was like, "What? I don't want a puzzle. I want sweets." She was really cross about it. I was like, "No, you got sweets as well." And she just was not that interested. Day 2 though, loving it. And now we're on whatever it is, the 8th. There's like a rapidly growing puzzle expanding across the table. So
Wow.
now they're buzzing. Now they're buzzing about
Now
it.
we're
So then when
buzzing.
do they do origami?
When we-
Amongst that?
Yes, yeah. When we give them origami,
We're all going to have to
in
go round, Sarah, and do a bit of origami.
This
with Andy.
honestly,
Do you want me
like
to
you
bring the
must be
origami in?
waking
Do you
up at about 4 a.m. to get right, kids.
Yeah.
Origami,
Origami
then
time.
we'll do our puzzle, then
Well, it's
quiz.
quite,
I think it's quite
very
wholesome.
peaceful, and it shuts them up for a bit, doesn't it?
Yes, exactly.
Because when you mentioned
That's the
dates there, of like the 31st of January for the National Running Show in Birmingham, UK, what actually that does to my mind is actually freak me out a little bit, because do you know what's happening on the 19th of January? Sarah, do you know?
I think I know.
Go on.
Rick's training plan begins.
Yes.
For what?
He's decided he only wants to train for this race for 14 weeks.
For this race? Are we not even going to say, is this potentially a marathon in the spring?
Yeah, I'm running the London Marathon in 2026.
Oh, right.
Woo!
Hello. Is this breaking news?
This
Yeah,
is
kind of,
breaking
yeah.
news.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for this.
But you only want to do 14 weeks?
Well, I looked at the different training plans. So obviously, most people do a 12-week or a 16-week training plan. And I thought,
Or
well,
20.
12-week
Yeah.
potentially. Well, no, I think 12-week, 20 is madness.
I think 20 is quite sensible, actually, if you want to need to build up your base.
Not if you're Rick, where you
No.
only want to do
Yeah, but
the
you have to
minimum
balance-
amount
yeah.
possible
Yeah.
No,
for
you
the
balance-
maximum effort.
Yeah.
No, my
Minimal
reasoning is
effort.
really clear. I'm balancing the physical benefit with the mental load and getting that capacity just right.
No, you're just
I told
lazy.
him to, he
No,
is
no, no.
lazy.
No,
What I
14 weeks is
told him
good.
to do is-
But you build a decent base at the beginning of the year, so you come into it from a decent base.
Have you
For
got a
me,
bit decent
16
base?
weeks is too,
No,
is
God
too
no.
long.
Of course he's not got a decent
16
base.
weeks is
what
too
I
long.
told him to do was
I've done-
take week 1 of this 14-week plan and do that 3 times
Before starting
week 1. So technically, don't listen,
17.
he's doing a 17-week plan.
That's good. That makes
Sorry,
sense.
what was that?
No, you're doing
Right.
a 14-week
Is he
plan.
actually-
I'm
is he
really
signed up to that,
excited
though?
about it.
Yeah, I've signed up to it. We did it together. Sarah and I signed up to this plan in the park.
Okay, as in, but you're in. This is you're down for it. So yeah, 17
I'm 100%
17
in.
week training plan. For
No,
London Marathon.
14-week training plan.
Yeah.
Because 16 was too much of a
Do
big
you know,
mental load for me.
17-week training plan
And
means that you start
12 seemed a bit unsafe. So
Christmas week.
I've gone for 14.
That's quite cool,
I've gone.
isn't it?
14 plus 3.
I'm
Yeah,
doing a
lovely.
14-week
Yeah.
training plan,
14 plus
and it
three.
starts on the
Plus
19th
3.
of January,
Yeah.
2026,
But prior
for the
to-
race on the 26th of April, 2026.
But prior to that, you'll have done 3 weeks of just gentle, like
Just gentle
loading,
base
like consistent loading
building.
that doesn't count.
Hot tubbing.
Yeah.
Running.
Well, we know how good hot tubbing is actually for it.
Really
Yeah,
good.
we
yeah.
need to do a deep dive into this because weren't we talking about, or maybe I mentioned it to you guys, that I was reading about a study that showed that it was something like, yeah, here we go. I don't have the full science. It was something like 3 40-minute hot baths a week improved your VO2 max without doing anything else.
Really?
By like a few percent.
I'm definitely willing to try this out.
Oh, so I'm just about to get rid of my bath. Maybe I should keep it.
You get rid of your bath.
Well, just get rid of the bath, put a hot tub in outside.
Why would you do that?
Baths take up so much space.
Sarah, honestly,
and I never have a bath. Actually, how
you'll
sorry,
regret that.
this
Trust me,
blew
you
my
will regret
mind.
that.
So I was filming with Tom doing Hurtwood Ultra at the weekend. It was quite far away, so we stayed over the night before with George, the videographer.
And that debrief of the 50k with Tom, very excitingly, that's the club bonus episode this week. Is that right?
Yeah, so go listen to that if you want to hear about the trials and tribulations that Tom went through. One thing I didn't mention though was, so we stayed in a lovely hotel in Box Hill, had a bath, as do most hotel rooms. We were sat at dinner and George just goes, oh yeah, I'm gonna head back now and have a bath. Me and Tom were like, why? And he was like, well, I've got a bath, I'm just going to make use of it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I think you're the only person. Actually, I could see you doing the same, Rick. I've got a bath.
I
Why
have
not?
seen Rick doing that
in
person when we shared a room.
I've never had a bath in a hotel. I don't think I've had a bath in about 10 years.
So
I
if we
do
share
shower.
a room,
But...
if we share a room, yeah, you shower, but you don't wash your legs.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah.
On that as well, Tom came back absolutely
his legs.
filthy.
Yeah.
He was having a shower and he literally, and I was like grabbing something from the bathroom and he was like, oh, I'm almost done. And I was like, are you kidding me? Look at your legs. And it was as if he hadn't washed at all. Like all mud was still on his legs. And he was like, but I can't touch my toes. So how am I going to wash my feet? And I was like, that is for you to figure out, but I'm not helping.
Well, he's 30 years old.
Yeah, he never washed his legs.
And he's like,
that was day one of washing
and he
his
says
legs.
to you, I can't go. That sentence just then makes no sense at all. So for 30 years, he's just gone, well, I can't touch my toes. How am I going to wash my feet? So he hasn't even tried, ever.
To wash his feet.
I was like, you can put your leg up on the side of the bath, or you can put
just lift your feet up towards your body. Just
the worst thing as
stand on one
well
leg.
is he hadn't even took the like shower head out of the little clip.
Oh, he could take the shower to his feet. Yes, of course.
It was literally killing me.
Oh my goodness.
Sorry, carry on.
Well, for reference, that's that Tom episode. There is also a previous episode of the Running Channel Club podcast, extra edition, talking entirely about whether it's okay to not wash your legs in the shower and how many runners don't wash their legs in the shower, and also how many times can you wear running kit.
Oh, that was a revelation.
That was very important to go through that.
It was. Rick's
I
fundamentally
learned how
changed
to wash my legs. Rick learned that wearing a t-shirt 10 times
No,
is probably not okay.
shorts.
Absolutely incorrect.
Shorts,
which is
fine.
Worse. So much better. So much better.
Famously, one's bum much cleaner than one's upper body.
Heaven forbid you let your nipples touch your t-shirt 10 times. Just let your balls do it. Sorry.
Wow, that's got out of control. Should we talk about Valencia Marathon?
The most important thing is learning when you're wrong and moving on from that. All right? Andy, Spain.
Oh. So I've got a really horrifying mental image that Sarah's just planted.
I'm so sorry to everyone watching. Let's talk about Valencia.
This is a family show.
Yeah.
This is a family show. I was talking about juggling.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right, Valencia Marathon. How are you feeling going into it? Because famously you're cool, calm and collected in these situations.
Yeah, famously. Actually, producer Owen's just over there. I think he could attest to this. I was actually relatively calm. I'd had so little time to think about it with a slightly chaotic work and family week leading into it. But then all of a sudden I got to Valencia and I was like, oh, yeah, wow, the marathon's happening.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I had planned all the stuff I needed. So I had my little pre-cut out strips of tape to go on my nipples. I had my Vaseline. I had all my shorts, pants, socks, everything I needed. I had my gels and I'd worked out which pockets they were going in and how that was going to work.
Yeah.
And I had my shoes. And then I had a dilemma about whether to wear a running hat or not because it was going to be really hot and I couldn't remember how much shade there was out on the course.
Was there any?
There was quite a lot of shade, way more shade than I remembered, but it was still hot.
So you weren't shade chasing?
I was. There was one point when I actually said to Freddie, who was filming with us again, because he's an absolute legend, and you can see him on both the Running Channel and my own Instagram, because I've posted for the first time in 2 years.
Yeah.
I only post at Valencia Marathon. So.
Was that the last time you posted?
Yes.
Oh my God.
He's back into the world of social media.
But yeah, I said to Freddie, I was like, oh, let's go over there at one point because it was just shade on one side of the road. Yeah. But actually it was one of those, it was it was like I could run there and my feet were in the shade. But
that's annoying.
Just the angle of the sun wasn't quite right.
What was different to when you ran it? Because you last ran it in 2023. You had a fallow year in 2024, and then you've come back in 2025.
I went out to pasture for a year.
Yeah.
We were doing some crop rotation with my running habits. And
back in 2025, what had changed? Did the race feel different, or was it kind of how you remembered? Or do you remember anything?
Yeah, so I remember loads more this time, which makes for a better debrief, I imagine.
Excellent.
I remember the exact point at which I saw Rick the first time around.
Single point.
When it got thin at the end.
Yeah, it was like a Tour de France style finish, which was still epic. That was really epic. The big differences were, one, I knew what I was in for, and I was less scared about the distance, which I've got a sort of story about that, I suppose, because maybe that was a challenge. I was so nervous about the distance the first time around that I probably, respect isn't quite the right word, but it seemed to go by more quickly. Whereas this time, because I hadn't really been worried about can I finish, the actual like counting down the kilometres or counting up the kilometres was much more challenging mentally. I was also in a wave ahead of where I was last time, a start wave.
Oh, right.
So I started in the 250 to 3 hour wave the first time because I wanted to break 3 hours. Ended up with 253.40 something. And then this time I started in the 238 to 250 wave. But I started deliberately right at the back of that because my target was to run sub 250. So that was different. And because of that, for whatever reason, last time around, I kind of missed my wave at the start. I only just got into the corral before they closed it. And then Freddie and I kind of just wandered up to the start line and started on our own. So we actually had quite a calm, considered, and slightly lonely almost, but in a good way, first 5 or 10K. This time around, I was amongst the chaos from the beginning, which was really cool because that's the experience that I know most people have.
Is it you come down and then you kind of go either? You go either side of a roundabout?
Start over a bridge, and then you split either side of the roundabout.
It's so cool to watch.
Yeah,
because it is just like a swarm of runners going.
And I think the men and women start on either side, maybe.
Yeah.
Because everyone starts at the same time, and so we were this time, because I wasn't 10 minutes behind like I was the first year. This time I started with the pros. Couldn't see them, but I could hear them getting announced. 100 meters in front of me.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was, though the Valencia is a very fast marathon, and the pen that I was in, the corral of that kind of faster runners, and then even the 250 to 3 hour, like it's, I don't know what it's like in the other corrals, but I imagine it's a little bit more chilled. It was very like focused and silent and kind of intense.
Did it give like flashbacks to what elite life was like?
Sort of, although I was chatting to someone, we had to, where our hotel was, we were staying like 7 or 8K from the start. And then because all the roads were closed, we had organised buses by the organisers, which was great. You had a wristband, you could get on that, but it had to take a really circuitous route to get there. And it wasn't particularly glamorous. And it was early in the morning and you're surrounded by people that are covered in various like lubricant, it seemed like, and it smelled like sports, people ready to do sport. Yeah. And yeah, one guy did say to me, who I was chatting to him on the bus, he was like, but this is a bit different to being a pro athlete. And I was like, yes, the big difference is like, it was a bit more, you have to be much more self-sufficient. Obviously, I think you do get pampered as a pro. Yeah. Just like someone just says, turn up at this time, and then someone takes you where you need to be, and then you have your own private areas to warm up and toilets and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was, the atmosphere was great, but it was so much warmer this time. Last time, do you remember I started in arm sleeves? I ran the whole thing in arm sleeves actually, and I started in gloves and threw them to you at one point.
Yeah.
Because it was like 7 degrees at the start. This time it was already like 14 degrees when we started.
Everyone knew that kind of going into it. So were there any changes that you made based off of the fact that it was going to be hot?
Not massively. I was working on I couldn't control the heat. The only thing, I just wore fewer. I didn't wear start. I had my arm sleeves and gloves with me, but didn't start with either of those. And I had my hat and sunglasses on. Vest and like half tights. Other than that, yeah, the same sort of approach to hydration. And I had gels this time that had a significant amount of electrolytes in each gels. So I had more gels, much more carbs in each gel, and electrolytes in each gel as well. And I had way fewer carbs last time and no electrolytes.
You trained well, your training went well, and then your prep, you kind of knew what you were doing more because it was your first marathon when you did it 2 years ago at Valencia. So you went into this knowing the course. You also knew what fuel you needed and worked well with you. So when you crossed the line, were you happy with your time?
No.
Ooh.
No.
Were you happy last time?
No. I just
Let's unpack that.
I think.
What did you want?
I wanted sub 250.
Right.
And I actually thought there were various points in my training, and being realistic looking back, there was a chunk where I missed 3 or 4 weeks, about 5 weeks before the marathon, and that meant I missed my longest run. So I didn't run more than 30k, and I only ran that 30k once in training, so not even 20 miles. And the whole thing of learning from the first marathon was like, I just didn't spend enough time on my feet. So I didn't rectify that for this one, which is really frustrating, but there's only so much, you can't chase it again when you've only got 4 weeks to go once.
Yeah.
That was with my hamstring.
Also, you were upping a lot of stuff with this training block. Like you were training more.
Yeah.
Your workouts were longer.
Yeah.
So like
that's what it took me 2 years. Yeah.
Yeah. There's loads of little changes that have been happening.
Yeah. And so I thought probably when it was going really well before my injury, I thought 245 was possible. And then I was still pretty confident that 250 was possible. So then, and then what happened if we skip to the later stages of the marathon? I don't know where to start, but I had cramp again, but it came way later this time. And in the first time 2 years ago, it basically wiped several minutes off my time at the end because I just had to stop, and it was so bad I could then only really jog. Whereas this time we got to, and this will all be in the video on YouTube, which I hope will be a really good watch because it was genuine jeopardy. It was like,
I'm so excited to watch
We're really on the
this.
edge for this. And
it's obviously horrible to experience when you're the runner.
Yeah.
But as the people making a video, you want a bit of jeopardy at the end.
Who was holding the GoPro?
Freddie. So we're doing the maths. And
just checking.
And we wanted to go to sub 250. So I had to take account for the actual course markers as opposed to like what my watch was saying. So it was about by 32.2k.
Yeah.
So I needed to do the on the fly like maths because we went through 32k and I wanted to know where 10k was to go. So that means you've got to run another 200 meters. But on my watch, it was already 32.2. So once I got to 32.4k on my watch, then I looked at the time because that's when I knew it was exactly 10k to go. And I needed to run 39.40 I think, or 39.35.
At that point, I don't have the energy to twist my wrist. So
that's what Freddie's there for as well.
Yeah, to twist his
I did my own
wrist for him.
timekeeping.
I just think save the energy. Don't do that.
Yeah, fair.
So I was like, well, I'm going at exactly 4 minute Ks, and I had been by that point for 25k. Just been knocking off 4 minute Ks. So
but then to run sub 40.
Yeah, so I needed to go 2 seconds a K faster, basically. Which felt very doable at that
3:58.
point. Yeah.
The first kilometre you paced of my sub 25k.
Turns out 2 seconds a kilometre does make quite a big difference.
It really does.
Oh, you're telling me?
Yeah. So then I was like, right, we can do this, guys. And we started like, I wanted to not go, I didn't want to go pushing at 32k. I was like, let's get to 35 because I think I can make this up in the last 5 or even 7k. Got to 35, felt good. Got to 37k, felt good. And we'd already made up some of the time at this point. So we were like, pretty much if I did keep running 4 minute Ks from there, I think would have done it. And then, got to 37.5k and my hamstring cramped. Actually, first my quad cramped and then my hamstring, but like not to the point where you can keep running. Like you could feel it just like really
going.
You know, if you ever get a cramp in bed and you have to like really contort your body and then like
throw your leg against the wall.
Throw your leg out straight. So I had to stop on the spot.
Stopped?
Like, yeah. So actually, I walked a little bit, Rick. So maybe I've completed a marathon.
No, I think if it's over 90%.
Oh, okay, right. Is that your arbitrary?
Is that the rule?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Just for clarity, Rick is an idiot. So if you've got round a marathon, then you've run a marathon.
I just edited that out.
I stopped and I was so cross because I was like, I know there's no time here. We do not have time to play with.
Yeah.
And it felt like ages. Freddie said we stopped for about 15 or 20 seconds maybe. But then I got back into it and looked at my watch thinking we were jogging, but I was back almost straight away to running 4 minute Ks.
Nice.
So what did you do?
I feel like by that point, it's like it's like if you do an interval session where you've got really fast reps and then your cool down is so much faster than your warm up because your body's like, well, I can't, this is how
the
I
pace
go.
I was going. Yeah.
So what physically did you do though to get rid of the pain?
I had to stop and literally stretch it out. So I had to do the classic like hamstring sweep almost, or like straight leg.
So
I love love that story. How far
how
into
long?
the race
For how long?
was this?
37k.
37k, and Andy's just on the side feeding some
You're in the middle.
chickens.
You're in the middle.
What,
And how long were you doing that for?
Oh, about 5 seconds.
Oh,
10
right.
seconds.
Okay. All right. 5
yeah,
seconds.
the
And how
jeopardy.
much did you miss your time by?
7 seconds. So yeah, but then this happened.
Didn't make any difference.
This happened at 37k, and I was like, but then I was still checking the time, and I was like, we can still do this, guys. And
Poor Freddie. This is
Yeah.
so stressful for him.
yeah, there's another guy called Adam who was helping me out as well. So I'll come back
Oh,
to that
thank
story.
you, Adam.
Then I'm like rolling along, and we're thinking it's okay. And
Yeah.
then I'm just holding it, and I could feel my body was right on the limit of not effort. Like I definitely didn't feel fresh, but I didn't feel like I was about to stop and collapse and hit the wall or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I was right on the limit. If I push or squeeze or do anything differently to what I'm doing right now mechanically, then I'm going to cramp all over my body. And then we got to 39 and a bit K, and it went again, but way worse. And I was like, oh God, almost jumped up in the air. And then Freddie stops, Adam stops with me, and I stretched it out again, but this took longer. This was like 30 seconds probably.
So what caused? Do you know what caused that?
So I think it's just
not fueling correctly.
No, I was good on my fueling. I was good on my electrolytes. And I didn't feel dehydrated. And I wasn't after my first one, I was kind of covered in salt.
Yeah.
This time I wasn't. So I'm pretty sure, same as the first one, same as the half marathon as well. It's it's conditioning and fatigue in my muscles. I can't prove it. And my plan after this is to do some tests and stuff to try and make that the case, because I'd really nailed my fueling and hydration. I think I did a good job this time. And so I'm pretty confident it's that, because I hadn't spent enough time on my feet. At this point, my longest run was 2 hours, 5 minutes or something. And by 39k, I'm 2.5 hours in. So, or more. So it's the unknown, and my body saying,
body's kind of saying, I don't want to be doing this. Yeah.
So yeah, I got to, and I was like, I don't think I'm going to be able to run again here. And I just started, and I looked at my watch, and it was on average lap time. So for 39 to 40k, it was saying 4:50 or 4:40 or whatever. And I was like, well, not only did I need to gain the 20 seconds in this last 10k, now I've lost potentially 40 seconds.
Yeah.
But actually, we got rolling again, and I don't know how I did it, because I could feel my body completely on the limit of just everything pinging. And I couldn't have done it without Adam and Freddie, so massive shout out to both of those. But we got to 2k to go, and I was trying to do the maths, and I was like, well, if I can really, if I can close these last 2Ks in something like 3:40, then it's doable. And
As in 340 per kilometre,
Yes.
not 340 for 2k.
no, 3:40 per kilometre. And I was
That would be a good
and we
close.
just started lamping it. In the grand scheme of a marathon. And we were passing people. And the one thing I'd said for my first experience was I didn't want to have the experience of just being passed in the last 2 or 3, 5 kilometres. All the people I'd passed through the middle of the race the last time around all passed me again. But don't think anyone passed me in the last 2k, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And actually there were people who were stopping with cramp just like me.
Yeah.
And we were trying to dodge around those. And then I just could feel the cramp, but I was determined to kind of keep going, and it never fully went, the cramp again. So we just kept going. And then you come down this amazing street before you turn onto the blue ramp at the end, and the blue section into the finish, which is iconic. And it's 900 to go, 800 to go, 700 to go. There's all of these signs, and I'm sort of half looking at my watch, half trying to do the maths. And I think with 800 to go, I needed to run something like 2:35, which is 5 minutes miling, basically 5:10 miling. Bear in mind, my whole race I've been running 6:30 miling.
Right.
So quite a big increase. I was like, I can't do it. But Freddie and Adam were with me, and we were just properly motoring. I think Adam turned to me and he goes, he said something about, this is what you used to do. This is the Olympics, the last lap. And I was like, let's go. And then we were absolutely hammering it on the blue carpet, which is about 400 meters to go.
Really?
And then there's 2 little timing chips, and there was one timing mat. And I looked at my watch, and it was 2:49:59. And then I look up, and it's actually the next one. And now I got there, stopped my watch, looked down, and I was I was buzzing for how I'd finished, but also quite upset that the 2 stops had cost me probably 30 seconds to a minute between them.
Yeah. Well, there's always next year.
Sorry. So that was a long...
But you ran a pretty much 3-minute PB and some.
Yeah, nearly 4 minutes, yeah.
Nearly 4-minute PB. You came back and did what you wanted to do. You finished really strong.
Yeah.
That's huge.
I'm also hoping this little debrief doesn't stop people from watching the YouTube video. I want you to see the
No, I want to
emotion
see that.
and the...
I want to see you jump up in the air.
Yeah. And I did get. We should give, because I won't be able to do it in the final video, like a big shout out to both Freddie, and I put it on my Instagram because I wanted it to be this emotional. Like, I've shared all of these amazing moments with him now. Yeah. Like, when I chase a PB, Freddie is there, and like that's pretty cool. But I did say to him, I haven't done any of them, so like,
how is that him? Yeah. We were a bit worried though, because Freddie is rapid.
Yeah.
And he ran Chicago Marathon earlier this year.
2:38, I think you ran.
2:38. So when you wanted 2:45, I was like, oh, is this the end of the road for Freddie? Because he has to film you. Like, when you ran the 2:53, he was running backwards. So I was like, this is going to be really sad if we have to retire Freddie. But you know what? 2:50.
He's still got skin in the game. He can still hold the GoPro.
He said this is the first time in the last 400 meters that he was struggling to keep up.
Oh, really?
So like the first time in a race with me, but like,
I bet you love that. I bet you love that.
I mean, I think
goal for next time and drop Freddie.
I think to give him credit, I think he was just trying to make me feel better. I think he was still, but it was just less comfortable.
Oh yeah, he texted me afterwards and said he's going out for a jog today. No,
probably is. But shout out to Adam. We met him at, I want to say, between 5 and 10k, and he was just chatting away, saying he'd run like some incredible marathon fairly recently, and then this was like his bonus marathon, and he was just going to run to 25k because he had the entry, but he'd achieved his goals this year.
Yeah. He was going to stop at 25.
Yeah. And he ran the whole thing with me. Because
Love
at 10k, he's like,
that.
what pace are you running? I was like, I want to run 4-minute Ks. He's like, okay, do you want me to pace you? I was like, yes. And then every water stop, do you want me to get you some water? Yes, please. So he was like...
And it was like, this was the elite lifestyle I was looking for.
Machine, this man.
He was good. Incredible. And really good chat. Although at one point I was getting a bit...
Why were you chatting?
He was chatting. Yeah, that's the bit.
Did you respond? Did you respond? Like, how many words?
I was talking at some points.
But that's not, Andy, if you were talking, that's 8 seconds, mate.
No, but you need the mentality of like, yeah.
When Freddie paced me to my first sub 4, we had some great chats in the middle of that marathon.
Who are you two? Are you my friends? Are you mad? Like, if someone talks to me, I just stonewall them.
That's nothing to do with running. That's just
life.
They just don't get anything.
That's what you do to us as soon as
they get nothing.
Stop on
they get absolutely nothing.
Well, so Adam, at one
nothing
point,
back.
We might have been like 10 or 15k in. He had his phone in his back pocket of his shorts. He just got his phone out, and I was like, "What's he doing?" And then he just turns to me and he goes, "Oh, looks like the lead group have gone through halfway in this time."
Oh my gosh!
I was like, "What?
Who does that?"
I have done that in a marathon as well. Sometimes, do you not ever? So I've done a couple of marathons where like Kipchoge's been in the elite field that day, or like there's been like high hopes for a world record being broken.
That's a waste of 5 calories.
Yeah, but then it spurs me on because I'm like, I am in the same city as some incredible athletes that are running. I want to know what's happening, and it spurs you on for the next 5k.
All I'm thinking is I don't want to end up in the hospital in the same city.
Well, the only bit I haven't mentioned to you is that point when he was chatting to me quite a lot. I did have to say, like, I'm sorry, I can't. You can talk, but I'm not going to answer. And it was quite a welcome distraction to listen to stuff. Yeah. But I went through such a rough patch from about 14k to 21k. So from 14k to halfway. Yeah.
Oh, really?
I felt to the point I was like, I mean, you'll see it in the video. I was very, very close to stopping and just sitting it out.
Yeah, I saw you talk about that on maybe like your Strava post about it. What do you think it was?
On the curb, I was like, I had like a visualization of myself sat at like 18k just on the curb, like this sad little man just.
You're really selling marathon running.
Can't do it.
You excited for yours, Rick?
I'm less excited after the last 30 minutes.
So when's the next marathon going to be? Are we having another 2-year hiatus, or will we see?
No, so it depends. Immediately afterwards, I was like, well, I've got to do another one now.
Yeah, correct.
So because I want to go faster. So it's an entirely time-based goal.
Yeah.
So I'd nailed it.
Isn't he?
Yeah, but and I'm still frustrated that my body won't let me do it in the last 5k, and that's the bit that I want to fix. And so I want to try and look into the science, and I want to try and unturn.
Oh, he's going deep.
Overturn every rock that I can turn to try and see if I can fix this.
You know what you should do though? We should sign you up for a like spring marathon, or even if these races happen.
Hello?
Or you could do it. Or you could do an autumn one. But I reckon we need to sign you up to a 30k to a 20-mile race. Even if you did that in the spring and it was just a training block leading up to that moment, because then you do get to race like a solid 32k. Is that how far?
I'm up for it. But there was a period I found the first half yesterday so difficult. Like the first 5k I cruised and I was like, this is great. And then settled into the pace that I wanted to run from that point onwards, and I was like, this is great. This feels easy. I'm fine. But then just
went downhill quickly.
But just mentally, I was like, I don't want to do like.
Really?
I was like, I've got 37 kilometers to go. What? That's so far. And then we got 10K and I was like, I've still got 32K and my longest run was 30K and I just had such negative self-talk and I was beating myself up. And then I felt a little bit sick and I just, I think with the nerves and like maybe bagels, whatever I'd had beforehand, like I was like, I don't know if I can do this. And then I got to halfway and it was honestly like instant.
Yeah, because then you're like,
halfway,
then you're close. You're like fighting to something.
The
best piece of advice I've ever got.
Traffic light system.
Yeah, well, the best piece of advice I've ever got for a marathon is you really should just be bored in the first half.
Yeah.
And because I think otherwise, you bored or happy.
Yeah.
If you enjoy the first half, like fair play, I've never have. But bored is the best place you can be.
Yeah.
Because it is like you haven't trained a half marathon at that pace should feel pretty chill, especially if you do like negative split.
Yeah, so I think I was so I've ended up 250.06 and I was 125.30 maybe, 125.25, something like that at halfway.
So negative split.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well done, Andy.
Thank you very much.
Excited for the next marathon.
Yeah. Green, amber, red, yellow.
Correct.
Yeah.
The traffic light system.
Nice.
Move that from
I definitely
half
wasn't
to
amber
whole.
though when I should have been. I was red or black early.
Should we talk about the results in the news?
Yes, we shall.
Incredible news across the marathon world. Should we start with Alex Yee?
Yeah.
Actually, should we start with Tom Evans, who didn't end up running? Sad
We talked about it
times.
last. We're going to talk about another ultra runner there in a minute, aren't we?
Yeah.
Stepping down to a marathon. So, we wish Tom a speedy recovery. We saw a post where he was out with his family, I think, pushing his little one in the buggy, getting back to normality. But I believe there was illness and something involved. I'm not
It's
quite
also
sure.
just been announced that he has been selected for Hard Rock 2026.
Okay.
So that will be very exciting to see him line up to that race. Just sticking with ultra runners though, what we wanted to see at the weekend was if you put an ultra runner into a marathon and if you put a triathlete into a marathon,
What would
fast
happen?
road marathon, what would happen? Well, Tom Evans might not have given us that answer, but good old Courtney DeWalter has. So she smashed her own marathon record at the...
As in her own
personal best at the California International Marathon and ran 2:38.55.
Which I think I think given that she's used to running for 48 hours or like 20 hours or whatever, she's often running these incredible challenges.
Yeah.
Stepping down and still having the speed to run that, I think is pretty impressive.
Insane. So she knocked 11 minutes off her marathon PB. The US Olympic Marathon Trials is 2:37.
Oh, the qualification.
The
for
qualification.
far
So
off.
she literally is not that far off that,
Yeah.
which is insane when you think just how different ultra running is to marathon running, even though it's both under the umbrella of like long distance.
Which is why it would have been fascinating to see Tom run in the elite men's field in Valencia. But yeah, Alex Yee, who I would say he ran 2:11 in London when it was very hot. And, it's hard. He's an Olympic champion in the triathlon. Mm-hmm. Obviously, he did come from a running background.
Wasn't
so
his watch predicting 2:04 or something?
2:05, but he's run 2:06.
Yeah.
And I was quite, I would say, I spoke to loads of people beforehand and we were all like, I think he might break 2:10, like he might run 2:09. So to run 2:06, and it wasn't cool, but it is a very, very fast course. It's unbelievable. He's the second fastest Brit of all time behind Mo Farah as a triathlete. But a lot of people are saying that, but he had this incredible sort of
really
10K pedigree as a runner prior to triathlon, really.
So good. Yeah, he
So that's
absolutely
nuts.
smashed it.
And Emil Caress, who's one of the other Brits, was pacing. So that's quite a cool story as well. And
Very
then Phil
cool.
Sessman, another Brit, came behind him in 2:07.11. So
Yeah, there was also a Welsh record, Natasha Wilson, 2:24.21, and went to 8th on the UK marathon all-time list.
it is crazy. Isn't
Seems
it?
like a lot of good British runners at the moment.
Valencia was like a British takeover. It felt like it was.
Yeah.
It was amazing, and loads of amazing running channel people. So I should give a big shout out to all of the people
completely.
that shouted for me on the course, that gave me high fives, or that I got to shake their hands or chat to them on the bus or in the hotel. Yeah, everyone was lovely.
So
Right.
good. Quick question.
A question from South Africa. Well, they tried to put on a marathon, but it didn't quite work.
Oh wow, that's a sweeping summary of of the weather.
But this is not Cape Town. This is Durban. Dear team, greetings. I stumbled upon your channel while consuming copious amounts of content on how to be a better runner, and your channel has now become part of my staple diet of how-tos, what-tos, and tech and gear.
Love it.
Quick bio, 45-year-old male, background in sprinting. I can currently run a sub 13 seconds for the 100 meters.
Oh, wow.
Shifted to mountain biking in my 30s, play social touch rugby and basketball, and have over the past 6 to 9 months discovered running. I'm about 1.8 meters tall and 82 kilograms. Here's my question. Are we as sprinters, due to our physiology, at a disadvantage when trying to compete in longer distances? Do we know of any sprinter who successfully made the transition? Regards, Emmanuel Hinson.
From Durban in South Africa. Thanks, Emmanuel.
This is a great question.
It's sort of related. I met a guy in the airport, and we corresponded in the Running Channel Club as well, who I used to sort of compete against at university, or I think actually he's a bit younger, but we would have been rivals. He did the triple jump at Oxford University, but now was running marathons.
Oh,
and so it's sort of related, because I think the physiology and of a sprinter is probably quite similar to an explosive jumper. But clearly this person's now able to run marathons. But I think it depends what the question is. Is the physiology, if you're at a physiological disadvantage to compete at the elite level? Yes, because I think that the genetic and physiological makeup is totally different to be successful at those two things. But does it mean that you can't go and run a marathon in any way that's massively different to another member of the public? Probably not. But the training methods and your probably your somatotype, I think that's the right word for your natural body composition, is going to be slightly different.
It will just feel super different as well. Like we've worked with quite a lot of sprinters, and the training is just so different. Yeah. So it will probably feel, even though it is both running, it will probably feel like a completely different sport.
Yeah, and I think the best analogy I could give that I would think would be the difficulty is that a sprinting running form is beautiful but really exaggerated and really explosive, and you can't run a marathon if you're going to have incredibly high knee drive and these beautiful exaggerated arms and stuff that you'd see the fastest sprinters in the world have.
That's probably quite a good tip for Rick in your marathon. You love an exaggerated.
Oh, you do?
Maybe wouldn't describe it as beautiful, but Tom Cruise running.
You run like Tom Cruise.
You can't do that in the marathon.
I'll do that.
No.
I've got a couple of notes that we should come back to about my running form, because I was messaging a friend yesterday about something else, and he absolutely savaged me. But I would say that if you think about the difference between, say, someone that runs on the track, even a distance event on the track, versus the best ultra runners in the world.
Yeah.
There has to be a change there, I think. So whether it's cadence or stride length, or it's a slightly more shuffly, lower impact, in order to just be able to survive. And I feel like I've changed my running style a little bit for the marathon.
Well, it sounds like Emmanuel is looking at his cadence and stride length, because first of all, it's really reassuring that he has discovered running and is loving it. But by the very fact that he's looking at how-tos and what-tos, he seems like he's trying to figure out how to make a big lad run better at long distance.
So broadly, yes, you can definitely make the transition. Probably won't feel quite as natural as if you are coming from a place of middle distance or starting off from longer distance, but it's possible. Let us know what happens.
Yeah, good on you, Emmanuel.
There was a TV show a few years ago. I forget what it was called, but it was maybe called Last Man Standing, and they had celebrity.
Last Man on Earth?
No. It had Ewan Thomas, 400 meter runner. It had I think it had Donovan Bailey in it. And Donovan Bailey, I think, tried to take on man versus horse, but he's a 100 meter guy, and he was trying to run what's effectively a half marathon or marathon against a horse across the countryside. I don't think that went particularly well.
Sounds like it. He might have had some undercarriage carnage.
One of my good friends, who I know very well and ran with and lived with it when I was competing, messaged me yesterday. Was taking the mickey about me. He also ran Valencia, taking the mickey about me heel striking, and then I replied to him, in fairness, I don't actually heel strike. It just looks like it. And then he just replied out of nowhere, just accept your running form isn't pleasant. I was absolutely savage.
What did they run in Valencia?
Almost exactly the same time as me, actually a little bit slower than me, but he said it was easy for him though. He was just placing someone else. Yeah, I don't know whether, I think he might have been just put,
Love it. Look at the competitiveness.
It's unbelievable.
So many years on.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Well, there we go. Can we ask you a quick favour? It's completely free for you to do, but it really makes a huge difference to us. If you are enjoying the Running Channel podcast, please click subscribe, follow the podcast, drop a comment, rate us, click the notification bell if you can. It goes a really, really long way, and we love doing this, and we want to keep on doing it for as long as possible.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.